you talk a lot about your crippling anxiety, and yet you have chosen this form of comedy, which I would find to be the most anxiety-producing of all.
Yeah.
Which is, pranks terrify me.
Yeah.
You know, when I've been around them, or when people have wanted me to sort of participate in a prank, I've been terrified.
Really?
That something's going to go wrong.
You exude confidence. Also, you're so giant. You're like Paul Bunyan. I can't imagine you. you, Howard, and Sacha Baron Cohen are so gigantic. You guys just all exude confidence to me. But it's also, you're just so high up there that it's like.
But the personality is formed when you're young and afraid, and your brothers are beating the shit out of you, and that's when the personality is formed.
And it never changes.
And you're going to school with carrot red hair and two front teeth that are dead and freckles and
you don't have two front teeth that are dead.
I did. When I was a little kid, I fell in the driveway and my two front teeth died. And my parents said, "Well, the dentists back then were like, leave them in. The other ones will come out in a few years." And so I walked around with these two gray teeth in front. It looked like corn that had rotted.
You were like a chimney sweep from 19th century.
And I had a bowl haircut that my mother insisted on. I looked like the Wendy's girl on crack, And I'd stumble around.
And Boston is a tough town.
Yeah. They weren't.
People are tough there.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of running away. I remembered running away from people a lot. And
pranks terrify you.
But what I'm saying is that pranks.
Oh, for a person with anxiety, how can I do such anxiety-provoking things? I think that's actually part of it, and I've talked to my therapist about it a lot, and I think it has something to do. I think my anxiety and my ADD and my OCD, they're all in a band together. They're all jamming out together. And I think the only time I feel alive, that was in my head, but I didn't want to say it. I was like, I can't say that. Like, I'm like the guitar player from Aerosmith. The only time I feel alive is when I'm doing something like that's so high stakes and threatening my life that it helps me focus. Maybe that's me trying to
but my fear,
psychologist myself.
My fear would not be that I would get hurt. My fear would be that someone else might get hurt,
emotionally or physically.
No. Well, both, but I'd be, but physically too. Like you're shooting something, or someone's. It's supposed to look like someone got badly hurt, but they didn't. But what if someone else rushed in and then they got hurt?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's always the thing that's in my mind, which is why
I don't think about it that much.
Yeah,
I go into it blind.
Yeah. Well, I think it helps that you're a sociopath.
That also helps. My medulla is the size of a popcorn kernel. Is that what sociopaths have? Do they have like a neurological thing? Who knows?
We scanned you.
I went to
when you were downstairs in the Sirius building getting your quote pass, we also scanned your mind. Yeah.
Sociopath.
Yeah. You
allowed entry.
You have no frontal or lateral lobes at all. There's just nothing there.
I'm like that guy Phineas Gage. I got a railroad spike through my.
Oh my God!
Frontal
you knew his
lobe.
name. You knew his name.
I'm a big Phineas Gage fan. Are you kidding me?
I love his work.
I got his albums.
This is the guy that accidentally got a railroad spike in his head and then lived for a long time, right?
Yeah. So he's like an early
20th century.
Yeah, or maybe even late
19th century.
He got a railroad spike through his frontal lobe? Question mark. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And it didn't kill him, but it changed his behavior. And
he thought he was a choo-choo train. He used to say, "I'm leaving the station." Woo, woo. That's okay, Phineas. Okay, all right.
No, yeah, he got really cool after he got the railroad
spike through his head.
It was like punk rock. It was like a body mod.
My God, I can imagine a guy like that getting all that attention, and then today he'd get a whole bunch of attention on Instagram, and he'd blow up, and everyone would be talking about Phineas Gage and spike through his head. And I know that 2 weeks later, he'd see it start to drop. And so he'd say, it's time to have another piece of metal blasted into my head in a different direction. And he'd be instantly killed. But he would spike again.
Yeah, but
So
he'd go out trending.
Back then, you could have a whole lifetime being, hey, you're Phineas Gage, the guy that got a railroad spike through the head. High five me.
Not anymore.
And then it's like, yeah, no, the spike thing was cool, but that's so 1998.
Yeah.
What have you done lately?
The good old days are behind us, man. You could just get one railroad spike through the head and you'd be on easy street for the rest of your career.
Oh, so this leads to my next question. Have you ever done a sketch and Adult Swim was like, okay, not that one. We're not going to let you do that one.
The only one they ever cut, we had a pro-Al-Qaeda country song. That's the only one that, it was like, oh, sweet Al-Qaeda, can't believe I never tried you. Something like that.
And what was the point of view of this country singer that, Al-Qaeda's it's been enough, we've been shitting on them too much and it's time for them to catch a break?
Yeah, it was like, there's a lot of anti-Al-Qaeda sentiment. They need like a PR shakeup.
So they have a country song.
Yeah, so he had a country singer come in and sing a pro-Al-Qaeda country song, and they that's the only thing they ever cut. And I'm like defecating on my desk every other interview, and they're like, "Yeah, no problem."
Right.
In front of celebrities.
Right. Have you had
fully dilated?
Have you had celebrities walk out?
Yeah.
Who's walked out?
The rapper T.I. walked out, and Lauren Conrad, the reality TV show
from
star.
The Hills or something?
Yeah, don't act like you don't know, Conan.
No, I'm not. We dated, and then we were married, and then divorced, then remarried, then divorced again. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was weeks ago.
Yeah. So she walked out because she didn't like the flavor of your question.
I vomited on the desk during the interview.
I thought you you phrased something in a slightly insulting way. You misspoke, and she walked out. No, I vomited.
I vomited, and then I slurped the vomit back off the desk. And
that'll do it.
She didn't think that was
cool.
Yeah, a little too blue.
Yeah,
that type of humor.
Yeah, well. So,
but I apologized.
I had a guest. My real achievement was I had a guest walk out before I even interviewed them, which was he's a famous director, Abel Ferrara, and
I know, I love Abel.
Yeah,
Ferrara.
he's genius, and he showed up and he just had a panic attack. He was watching me on the monitor and he had a panic attack. This is when we were in Rockefeller Center, and he just said, "I'm out," and he ran towards the elevator and got on the elevator, and the segment producer Frank Smiley chased him and lost him, but then found him. And there was a bar on the street level, I think, called Hurley's that was, and found him there. and said, like, come on, you got to come back. And he was like, oh, okay. And pulled him back.
Really?
So he made it just in time. But the idea that I actually had a guest walk before I even spoke to them was quite an achievement.
What did you do? What did you say?
It wasn't anything. I think he just got really nervous. I think he saw me and said, I can't talk to that crazy man with the pastry for hair. I can't talk to him. So he ran away.